form my guided reading groups looking at data. I collect data usually for about the first 9 weeks of kindergarten, looking not just at reading levels and background knowledge, but also looking at the cues that students are using, the mistakes that they're making, because there can be really big differences just in what they need as far as the cues that they're using. My students that are not working with myself or my paraprofessional are participating in independent work. I use the daily 5 structure that consists of read to self, read to someone, work on writing, word work, and then listening to stories. I've found that keeping it simple has been the way to go. I've not always used daily 5. I've had years where I've used really fancy games and tubs and things like that, but getting down to what I really want students to do is I want them to spend time in books. I want them to work on writing and word work. It's all authentic. I think that there's always a misconception, and I've been guilty of that as well, that kindergartners can't sit and look at books independently for 20 minutes and stay engaged the entire time. And I was very wrong about that. Kindergartners can easily spend that time or longer fully engaged, and the important piece is setting that expectation and working with them and building what the Daily 5 calls stamina, practicing that. It takes us almost the first whole marking period to really build up to that, and holding that expectation for my students and celebrating when we reach that point of 20 minutes of reading a day. And again, I think giving them high quality books that they're excited to look at and read really helps them to be successful with that. And I've found that spending the time in the beginning of the year really setting those expectations and helping students understand why and setting a purpose for that time has really paid off. My students are always really engaged, and making sure that they have high quality books for them to look at, not just leveled books, but they're always selecting their own lookbooks or even looking at old books that I've read to them has really made that time valuable. So now that I've gone over what students are doing when they're on their own, when they come to me, I use a Jan Richardson structure where students are, of course, doing guided reading. We're looking at books that are on their reading level. We always start off with sight word work just to warm them up. Then I always do just a short and sweet book talk just to introduce, go over any concepts that they might need to know, or front load vocabulary. And then the bulk of our guided reading time is them reading. And to follow up after we read, we spend a few minutes practicing a sight word that's from the text, one of those using but confusing words that they're about to learn, and then using the rest of that time for either word study work, such as a word sort, or using magnetic letters to make words, or on the second day that we do a short sentence to respond to the story.